Hello and welcome to another card video. Today I'm showing you how to use Pro Markers and Flex Markers. To start out, I printed the Balloon Wishes digital stamp from Saturated Cannery onto some Neenah Solar White 110-pound cardstock. When you use this cardstock, the markers will go through the paper, however I don't mind that, I just cover it up on the back. Now I'm colouring this in using a mix between Pro Markers and Flex Markers. When I colour, I like to start with a skin tone. When I colour skin, I like to start with the colour Ivory. I put the colour all over the skin areas. Once I've done that, I go in with the colour Blush and add that where the shadows would be. In this case, it would be around the face, underneath her glasses, and on her neck, and on the arms. Once I've done that, I move on to a darker colour. I use Dusky Pink, and I put that where the shadows would be as well, but I use a much smaller amount. Then I go back to Ivory and I blend it all out. Now I thought this needed a bit more shadow, so I used tan and a small nib. I use this colour very sparingly since it's pretty dark. Once I've done that, I work backwards, starting with Dusky Pink, then Blush, and then Ivory, and blend it all out until it looks nice and smooth. Once I've done that, I like to move on to the hair. When I colour hair, I like to start with the lightest colour and colour in where the glare would be on the hair. In this case, I'm using Buttercup as my lightest colour since I'm colouring blonde hair. Next, I take my second lightest colour, in this case Sandstone, and I flick that in from the outside areas where it would be shadow. By using flicking motion, the hair gets a really nice texture and it looks a lot like realistic hair. Next, I go in with Cappuccino and I do exactly the same thing. This is where it really starts to look shiny. Next, I like to go in with a little bit of tan and a small nib again, and this just adds very small fine hairs and a lot of detail to the hair. Once I've coloured in the hair, I like to move on to the clothes. Here I'm doing the shirt. I wanted the shirt to be pink, however I don't have very many different pink colours, and they're very close to each other in colour. So here I'm also using the blender. Had I realized this before, I would have started out by colouring the whole shirt with the blender and then used the pink. However, it worked this way as well. So I started out with the lightest pink and used colouring in around the outside where the shadows would be. Then I went in with the blender and blended it out as good as I could. Then I went back in with the pink and then the blender again. Once I'd done that, I moved on to the darkest pink, cocktail pink, and added that very sparingly around the outside. Next, I took baby pink and blended that out a bit. Then I went in with the pale pink again and left just a tiny bit of light area in the middle. Then I took the blender and blended that out. This didn't really want to blend properly, so I just touched the blender to the pale pink marker and then blended it out the last bit. I think this works really well and it doesn't ruin your markers. Here I went in with pastel blue, but it turned purple anyway, so I changed to purple markers. I started out by using lavender and then some lilac around the outsides. Then I don't have very many purples either, so I used Purple Velvet, which is a very dark purple, and just touched the tip of the lilac marker. I colored in the rest of the image using the colors shown on the screen. To do this, I used the same methods as I've shown before. Now, as I was coloring, the markers bled a bit outside of the lines, so I went in with a white gel pen and colored around the image to take away the extra color. This is a very nice method to use since you don't have to be as careful when you're coloring. I also used my white gel pen to color in details such as the buttons on her socks and the heart on her shirt. Her teeth had also gotten a bit colored, so I went in and added the white gel pen there as well. Next, I'm taking my cutting board, but I'm moving the cutting blade away, and instead I'm using my bone folder, and I will score this card in half. I just go over that a couple of times with my bone folder until it's looking nice. Next, I'm taking my bone folder again, and I'm folding the card in half and creasing the edge. This makes the card fold really nicely and have a sharp, crisp edge. Now the card is finished, I'm just adding one last detail. I'm adding some paper pen, which is similar to Glossy Accent, but it's a lot cheaper, and I'm adding this onto the glasses. This makes the glasses look really shiny and it looks like it's glass. Right now it's looking very milky, but this will dry clear and look very nice once it dries. Here is a picture of the final card. You can use this technique for thousands of different cards. For example, you can color an image and then cut it out. You can then match your colors with pattern papers and then make a fantastic layout using that. You can also change the colors to fit different seasons. It doesn't have to be a birthday card. It can be a Christmas card, it can be a spring card, it can be a wedding card, it could be any kind of card you want. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you liked it. Please check out my other videos. I will be back next week with another video.